Jay-Z.
Your review outro. I'm gonna react to Jay-Z was scared for his life. Jay-Z versus Moneybags. This video was made by Jack Wonder, so yeah, let's click.
One of the most iconic rappers of this generation. His signature voice is so well known that you could be blind and still figure out it's him. Many people consider him one of the greats and put him in their top artists of all time list. Aside from his successful career as a musician, his
But some people call him overrated. Do y'all agree? Let me know.
business endeavors are also top-notch. He's not just some kind of businessman, he's a businessman. Damn, I'm so lame. But the first ever black billionaire from hip-hop culture. By this point, this shouldn't be a shocker to any of you, since we all know how big Jay-Z is. His come-up stories went straight from the movies. From selling dope in the streets and being an actual drug dealer, to becoming one of the best rappers of all time, making billions in the process by putting your street knowledge in your business, and as a cherry on top, getting yourself a successful woman by your side. To nobody's surprise, Jay-Z has a lot of connections on the streets and has been involved in a lot of altercations over the years. For years, Jay-Z was involved in a beef with another New York legend, hip-hop great, Nas. We won't get into the whole
Y'all remember those days? Those battles, Ether and Takeover? You know.
beef story, but this key event made the Jay-Z and Nas feud escalate even more than it already was. So why did Jay-Z, who is not only respected in the music industry, but also in the streets, start fearing for his life? The year's 2000s. Jay-Z with his Rockefeller crew goes on Hot 97 to freestyle for Funkmaster Flex. The artists that come with him to freestyle are Memphis Bleek, Beanie Sigel, Emilio Sparks, and H Moneybags. They're sitting there, freestyling, and having a good time. Before coming to the station, Memphis Bleek had an idea that this would be a perfect opportunity to premiere a new artist, already mentioned H Moneybags. Nobody thought that this rapper's name would cause so much drama between Jay-Z and Nas. During the freestyle, we can hear Jay-Z asking Flex to give the listeners their phone number for them to call. After a while, Flex gives the audience a number. Unfortunately, I couldn't find the clip where it happens, but at some point, Prodigy, another legend from the hip-hop world, one half of the hip-hop duo Mobb Deep, calls up the station. Prodigy then gives
Rest in peace, Prodigy.
the phone to his friend, which to everyone's surprise is named Moneybags. According to rumors, they start talking and their conversation gets heated instantly because it was seen as a sign of disrespect to take Bag's name. At this point, you could be a little bit confused about why this guy, who we know nothing about, calls up and starts attacking Jay. Let me explain. Moneybags isn't just some random guy, but a legend in the New York streets. Maybe less for his MC skills and more for his connections and being a real deal. His real name is Eric Smith, and he went to Westinghouse High School. High-profile MCs that went to this high school include the legendary Notorious B.I.G., Busta Rhymes, and none other than Jay-Z. They were born in the same year, 1969, so I'm guessing that they went to the school around the same time, before E moved to Queens. As mentioned before, Bags had a notorious street reputation. People knew him for extortion, selling drugs, armed robberies, and murder. In 1990s, he was involved in a shooting between his crew and the Lost Boys gang at the premiere of Godfather 3 in Valley Stream Theater, Long Island. Moneybags was one of the shooters when an argument between two groups erupted. 4 people got hit during the shootout, all of them were innocent bystanders. Police retrieved 25 shells from 5 different guns. 2 of the victims got hit in the arm and neck, but fortunately survived. Third victim was a 17-year-old kid who played basketball for his high school. He survived the shooting, but unfortunately lost an eye. The last victim was a 15-year-old kid named Tremaine Hall. He got shot in the head and ultimately died at the scene. In the early 90s, Bags was also heavily affiliated with the rap crew Live Squad, which consisted of Stretch, Majesty, and K-Lo. They were also closely tied to Tupac. When Pac got locked up on false sexual assault accusations, and after the Quad Studio shooting, unlike many others of the Live Squad and Pac's friends from New York, he was one of the only ones who visited him in jail and hospital. Unfortunately, their friendship was cut short because after the Quad Studio shooting, Pac didn't like the fact that Bags was still cool with Stretch and Big, people whom Pac was blaming for setting him up. In 1995, Moneybags was in Jay-Z's music video, Dead Presidents, alongside Biggie.
You heard about E? You heard about E? You better have. I'm gonna drop my shit on the road. Drop the shit on the
Moneybags, firm, baby. Queens in the house, representing the firm.
That's enough. If it ain't rough, it ain't right. You know how I go.
Bags was a huge fan of Nas and Mobb Deep. He became friends with Prodigy through a mutual homie Shamik from Long Island. Inspired by being around Prodigy and being down with the firm, Moneybags started rapping. He released his own solo album, In Bags We Trust, in 1999. Although a lot of people say the album is neither good nor bad, the features were insane. It included Nas, Nature, Cool G Rap, CNN, and Live Squad. The lineup itself should serve as an evidence of how respected and well-connected Moneybags was. As you can see, Bags wasn't just some guy who wanted his 10 seconds of fame. He was the real deal. One of few close to Pac, Biggie, Nas, Prodigy, and Big Stretch. He knew everyone in the industry, and everyone knew him. Jay-Z and Bags knew each other way before the call to the station. They went to the same high school, were close with the same people, and hell, even legend has that Bags was helping Jay at the beginning of his rap career by bringing JCD's radio station since he had connections there.
When Jay wasn't popping, when Jay wasn't popping, he used to bring his tape to E, so because he wanted him to give his tape to Ed Lover to play in the morning.
Yeah.
So Jay used to go, all the heavy hitters in New York, Jay would bring his tape personally to the heavy hitters in New York, and E was one of the heavy hitters.
Playing that shit in the web.
So now when it's time for E doing the same shit, now that you done made it already, nigga looking for him to like, yo, nigga, I ain't nobody now just because you doing it?
Before continuing the story, I want to mention that at this time, Jay-Z's relationship with Prodigy and a lot of East Coast rappers was not in a great spot. You see, East Coast rappers took great offense when Jay-Z in the song Money Cash Hoes said the line,
"What feeling? It's like New York's been soft ever since Snoop came through and crushed your buildings. I'm trying to restore the feeling."
This line was a reference to Snoop Dogg and West Coast duo The Dog Pound, which consisted of Corrupt and Daz Dillinger crushing Twin Towers in their video for their record, New York, New York. Prodigy and others not only felt disrespected because it was thought as Jay was dissing them for not standing their ground, but even felt furious about the fact that during the peak of East Coast and West Coast tensions, Jay-Z was nowhere to be found, and rappers like Prodigy and Havoc had to take it upon themselves to defend New York with records like LA, LA. As you can see, this call to the station wasn't just any random call to start some sort of beef. It was more than personal, and the anger towards each other had been building up for years. Let's get back to the 2000s Hot 97 interaction. During the call, Moneybags told Jay, "How the fuck are you going to let some random guy bite my name? You know me, and you know how I'll get down. I done put in work for this name." He ended the call by saying, "When I see you, you know what it is," and hung up. Up to this point, E and J didn't have any problems, but let's not forget, hip-hop back in the day wasn't the same as it is today. Your rap name or nickname had to be original and 101. Right now we have Nas and Lil Nas X, but back then, especially when you were coming from the streets, your nickname was your identity. According to Majesty from Live Squad, he took the situation personally.
You should just tell us to say, yo, call yourself H, not H Moneybags, because I got a man that's E Moneybags and he on his way up, man. You know what I'm saying? He's making a little bit of noise.
I mean, this goes down to the laws of biting, my nigga.
It just goes down to, yo, man, you supposed to be my man. You know what I'm doing. You respected me when you needed my help, and now that you got a little momentum going, now I ain't nothing.
A lot of artists from the East Coast were already having problems with Jay, and Moneybags was now one of them. You had to have the balls to say, "If I see you, it's going down," on live radio. As I was saying, he was no joke.
On live radio, though. On radio, bro. And while everybody is listening, bro. That's OD.
I'm not belittling Jay-Z by any means, but I think this is the point where he started to get seriously stressed out. After he hung up the phone, Bags was furious. He called up Nas to tell what's going on. He told the whole situation, and Nas responded with, "Alright, I'ma call him." Nas and Jay had some sort of relationship back then, even though they already had sent a few jabs at each other here and there. During the call, Jay-Z allegedly said, "Tell Moneybags that I make music for people who make money," implicating that Bags was broke. Best believe this upset Nas, and they started to go back and forth over the phone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was up. Yo, man, that fucking nigga Jay, man, when I see that nigga on sight, I'm all over that nigga. I'm fucking his ass up.
Saying it's lit when I see you. It's lit, bro. Word. Damn.
Sight when I see his ass. So you like, oh, all right, so what's up? We got beef with this nigga? Like, yeah. We're on sight. We on this nigga up here, all on the Queen's Beats, nigga, fucking violating it. So Nas is like, what? All right, boom, hang up. I don't know if Jay called him back or he called Jay. Well, they speak. So when Jay speaks to Nas, he go, yo, man, why he bugging the fuck out, man? Yo, man, we don't even make music for niggas like that, man. We only make music for niggas that get money. This is what Jay tell Nas. And Nas tell that nigga, yo, hell no, I make music for everybody. And he was like, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? We make money for the money niggas. And Nas told him again, no, I make money I make music for everybody. So then he called E and told E what Jay said. And E said, yo, fuck that. When I see Jay,
You forgot
the
about
city,
the nigga.
This incident escalated their beef to another level, and everything from this point became serious. I don't know how true this is and how much we can trust Reddit comments, but it is alleged that during the next few weeks, Jay didn't leave his house in fear that Bags, with his reckless nature, was going to handle his business in broad daylight. During this time, Bags recorded a couple of diss songs aimed towards Jay-Z, but none of them provoked Jay to respond.
Was bugging the fuck out and shit. You know, I understand Jay-Z, you know, wanna like protect his, you know, safety. Like he wanna be safe. Like
One of those diss records was called The Gospel, which was unfortunately his last song ever.
Moneybags, Jay wanted Nas in his dead president's video. Who the hell you think he hollered at, yo? Real connected with real. Those were the days, and it ain't my fault. He didn't accept your invitation. You sample my thuns. Now I'm on joints and with my thuns. Name the time and place, you won't even come. I know it is up, you something similar. Not knowing your part. Life is an act, should have been playing it smart. It's killing you. You're facing the real. You know I ain't nothing like Mace. I ain't a straight beat cocked in your grill. We up in a place, we're tucked in the waist. The electoral votes been chosen, you want to stolen the race.
The situation was dark, and everybody felt the tension. But fortunately, Sauce Money, another New York native who worked with Jay-Z in his early career, was married to Moneybags' first cousin at the time. In his own words, fortunately I was in a good situation where I could arrange a phone call between both of them. They worked out their differences in the end, and thanks to Sauce Money, Moneybags and Jay-Z managed to squash their beef. Although the situation was resolved without any casualties, Jay-Z and Nas' relationship from there on out was damaged for decades. Jay-Z and Nas went on to have their differences up until recently, but now they seem to be on good terms. Jay-Z went on to become who he is today, and although this would sound like a pretty good ending to all of it, unfortunately for Moneybags, his reckless attitude eventually caught up with him. Soon after the situation with Jay was over, he ended up escalating one of his other beefs, in which he tried to kill leader of the Supreme Gang, Kenneth McGriffin, but instead killed Black just by mistake. Black Just was a well-respected member of the Supreme Gang. In 2001, in retaliation for Black Just murder, Supreme ordered a hitman to kill Moneybags, and on July 16 at 9:45 p.m. at Queens Village, 4 gunmen crept up behind his Lincoln Navigator while he sat inside, smoking and eating barbecue chicken. The gunmen fired over 40 rounds into his vehicle, hitting him over 10 times and ultimately killing him.
So yeah, bro, that's the video. Let me know what y'all think about this situation. See, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe if y'all know the vibes. Or if you're just checking out, you are.